Another poor performance by Manchester United in the Premier League triggers more transfer news, particularly in the outgoing section. And Alejandro Garnacho's transfer saga that was January and all the way through January has reignited with Antonio Conte's comments, or apparent comments, coming from Italian journalists over the day yesterday. It was pretty much while the game was actually going on, just before the game in fact, but went under the radar. We're going to talk about that, what Conte has said, what he wants to happen this summer, where United stances on this. Another update from the exact same journalist around Victor Osimhen again. Tyler Dibling opening his mouth on his possible move away from Southampton this summer. We're going to talk about all of that as well. And of course, everything else from what we've seen yesterday and the aftermath. Some more comments from Ruben Amorim and what he said regarding Manchester United moving forward. The adaptation of Kobbie Mainoo is something else I want to talk about today as well. But again, like just going off and having a little bit of time to breathe and settle down and look back on what was yesterday. Quite clearly, Manchester United have got an awful lot of work to do, and I've said this before, we've done it on many shows. The transfer window is pretty much open for Manchester United right now, and everything is already going on behind the scenes. That is the hot topic today. Bank Holiday Monday here in England, everyone. Hope you all up and at it. Well, chilling out, taking advantage of the extra day's rest. You're going to need it after watching Manchester United at any point this season, I think. So last time we had the whole sort of the atmosphere and the craziness around the Europa League, and we had Good Friday off. We've had the Wolves come down, and now we've got Bank Holiday Monday off just to ease us in. I think they knew what was coming this Bank Holiday Monday for Manchester United fans, and they've helped us out a little bit. So hope you're having a great Easter weekend anyway, everybody. Get your comments in. If you're in bed, chilling with a coffee, out on your morning walk, just listening in, I've got you covered. All the news here first, and we are going to get into it. We're starting on the Garnacho situation and what is actually happening. Now, this is all being pushed from the Italian side of things, as it always has been, and it was the same in January. United stood firm. So, just to build up to what has actually been said from the Italian side over in Napoli over the weekend. As we know, throughout January, Manchester United's stance on Garnacho was that they really weren't prepared to sell him unless they had a replacement to come in January. Now, that didn't materialise. Very difficult indeed to get someone in January. The only big move that was made was Kvicha Kvaratskhelia went to PSG, which surprised everybody because really, Napoli didn't replace him properly, but are still fighting for that title alongside Inter Milan and Atalanta in Serie A right now. But we always knew from United's side that the price was approximately 70 million. That's what United wanted out of the deal. And they thought that it would be bidded down. You would have a bit of haggle and banter in there as well, and you start high to come down to meet your price. United's valuation right now for Alejandro Garnacho has been set apparently now at 50 million quid. So that's the figure, and that's what's going around all of the media and everything that's been said coming out of this possible deal, because it's not a definite yet. But that obviously is definitely a mark that Napoli can reach, and with a new financial year coming up and being brought into play, Napoli doing well, selling Kvaratskhelia, back in the Champions League next season. Financially, Napoli are in a very, very strong position right now. And the word coming out from Daniele Logo, who is the journalist that was talking through everything that was going on with Manchester United's links with Napoli and any other player going the opposite way throughout January, he was then backed up by Fabrizio Romano as well. So we did lean towards Daniele Logo and what he was talking about throughout January. And he's the journalist now that is saying that Antonio Conte is saying to Napoli that he wants Alejandro Garnacho. He is his top target, and he wants him in and expects him in his team next season. So again, there at any cost as well was the comments that come out. He wants him in his side. He is his number one target going into the next season at Napoli, which, when you look at it from Manchester United's point of view, puts them in a strong position. You could say we're in a strong position because Antonio Conte wants him, and what Antonio Conte wants, he usually gets at the clubs he's in. And Napoli have already backed Conte to a high level when it comes to bringing in recruitment and strengthening his squad before. Obviously, we've seen that McTominay went last summer. He's had Lukaku there as well. And with him losing one of his big players and Napoli really being up there and competing for the title this year as well, they need to back Antonio Conte, is the word coming out of Italy. And they want to give him what he wants going into the summer transfer window. And apparently, it's Garnacho. And Garnacho is the man that is going to be, I think, key for Manchester United summer as well. So this does have legs because of what we've known before from what happened in January and Manchester United dealing with Napoli. And obviously we heard the president come out many times, the CEO, Daniele, what was his name now? I can't remember his bloody name now, but yeah, it will come back in time, obviously, and we will hear more from the Napoli side of things as the summer goes on, I'm sure. But communication and relationship is there between United and Napoli. Obviously last summer, Scott McTominay, they got a great deal for him, and we do know that Manchester United were contacted by Napoli about Garnacho in January. They're going to revisit that, and it could be massive for Manchester United. It really could, because, we were only talking yesterday about how poor Manchester United are, what we need to do in the market, the chance that we won't have European football. If we don't have European football, I do see Garnacho being sold. I see Garnacho being sold anyway. I've said this many a times now. I just don't see him fitting into Ruben Amorim's side. He's tried and he's playing games, and everyone can say Amorim has bigged him up. Amorim was backing Rasmus Højlund yesterday, but you think he's not going to go out and buy a striker because he's backed out Rasmus Højlund in the press conference? No, he's not. And so he's backed Garnacho because he's had to, because he's the only one available. There's no one to take his place. But let's be clear on this. We all know that when Ahmad is back, he will be ahead of Garnacho. Bruno's ahead of Garnacho. Apparently we are going to buy another midfielder, so that pushes Bruno back forward again. Probably Joshua Zirkzee is on a par in terms of how Amorim is using him at the moment as the 10. Obviously Mason Mount is going to be ahead of him as well if Mason Mount gets back to full fitness. And Garnacho will be surplus to requirements. He won't be a first team 11 player. He won't be a starting 11 player when everyone's fit. And that's definitely the case. And if United are not in Europe, just for instance, and there is less games, then there is less reason to rotate and Garnacho getting opportunities just through the natural rotation of the team and freshening things up. So Garnacho definitely is, I think, the one player that is most likely to leave Manchester United this summer out of the current playing staff. Obviously, the players that we know about that are out on loan and are probably going to be brought back and then sold again this summer, we know about them and we know what Manchester United are probably going to bring in for them. But Garnacho could be absolutely huge for Manchester United summer. In the sense that if he is sold for that 50 million of absolute 100% pure profit for United this summer will go an awful long way to filling the coffers for Manchester United to go out and spend what's necessary. And let's not forget as well, Manchester United, with that new window opening, will they be pushed to actually sell Garnacho in the June? Because that's when Manchester United will have the opportunity to balance any books regarding the end of year for June 31st. With the window opening sooner, could we actually see Garnacho go quickly? Now, obviously, United have got their 2 dates in Malaysia straight after the season finishes, so that's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens there. I fully expect Garnacho to be on that Malaysia tour right after the season ends. That money coming into Manchester United is reportedly around about 10 million quid now for just playing them 2 games, which is big for United's financial fair play and PSR books. And if Garnacho is a top target for Napoli, and the window, as we know, is open to everybody. FIFA has said that June 1st, that window is open. Maybe there is a chance that Napoli could go out and buy Garnacho in that month. And that would obviously then trigger the situation with Victor Osimhen and Napoli, with Napoli open to actually selling Osimhen cheaper if someone comes in sooner. You see where the domino effect is creeping in already. And the significance of the June 1st window is massive because of the Club World Cup. I've explained that plenty of times before, but it could trigger the domino effect for the rest of the window and everybody else a lot sooner. Let's not forget, Napoli sold Kvaratskhelia and didn't replace, so I've got money to go. The likes of Aston Villa didn't replace John Duran. I only loaned players in, I've got money to go. Everybody with the Champions League set up and knowing what's coming in money-wise for the Champions League, the window could really kickstart. But going back to the Garnacho one and Napoli and what this does for Manchester United, not just that money, that 100% profit in, but this really could trigger Napoli into action, into selling Victor Osimhen. Now, Daniele Logo, again, the same journalist talking about Alejandro Garnacho and this situation, has also come out and talked about the Osimhen situation, and he just made it very, very clear and simple. He said Victor Osimhen is United's big transfer target this summer. He is their number one. That's the Italian side of things, of course, and it may differ from the British journalist, because the British journalists are saying that Liam Delap obviously is a favourite to go to Manchester United. United will actively look at bringing in maybe 2 or 3 forwards this summer if we're in the Champions League. That opens up that will. But Garnacho would literally fund both Osimhen and, say for instance, a Matheus Cunha or a Liam Delap if United wanted to go down that road. More on Cunha coming up in a moment, but the situation with Osimhen right now, with the season coming to its climax, is starting to open up. And again, I keep saying it, we're literally now, just over a week away from May, the last month of the season, and then the scramble begins. You've got all the trophies to play for and everything else, but behind the scenes, Manchester United having to work absolute overtime just to be prepared, ready. I think Garnacho will go, personally. I'll be interested to see what the chat says on this one. Do you think that Garnacho will leave Manchester United? I'm going to come into the comments section now in just a moment. So please do get in with your comments. Let me know what you think about this whole situation and merry-go-round between Napoli and Manchester United right now. Obviously, we're going to talk about the game a little bit later on as well. We did do a lot on it last night, but there are certain things that have come from the game that we are going to talk about as well on the show live this morning. Please do get your likes in if you're loving the content. And let's get into some of these comments. Just going to scroll straight up to the top just to see where we're actually at. Let him go if he wants out. Imagine how far we've fallen. Young players like him wants us to beg him. Compass Smith says, sell Ghana, get Cunha, Shirky, Delap with the money, no brainer. Rashi, Anthony, etc. Sales can go to other positions. Any more in there on that one quickly? See, just go buy a replacement for Garnacho for 50 million, then come back and sell Ghana for 50 million. Ain't finding any. Dibling is 100 million. He's never 100 million. We're going to talk on Dibling as well very, very soon. But Dibling is never going to go for 100 million from Southampton. Good morning to you as well, Babs. Hope everyone is good. Good to see lots of members and mods in the chat as well this morning. Isaiah says, if we let go of Garnacho and he develops, the fans will say we should have kept Garnacho. We shouldn't let him go. Look, Garnacho and any player leaving Manchester United can go and do well in another country or another club. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to do the same at Manchester United. We're seeing now how Garnacho really is shining in parts and then not. I said it last night, he's doing one good thing, one bad thing, and he's just stuck in the middle right now. And trust me on this one, he is not number one choice in that 10 role when everybody's fit. And if you are going to bring a 10 in, which United are going to do, then he is surplus. I think he will be the key to the summer. I really do. He will give United that little bit more freedom in the transfer market. And if we can balance the books in terms of actually getting him in that June period of the transfer window, getting him out in that June period of the transfer window, that changes a lot more for Manchester United as well. Because I've said this before, let's not forget what 3 financial years we're dealing with here. Ten Hag's first transfer window, Ten Hag's second transfer window, and the third one. So 3 Ten Hag windows in which United spent over 600 million on players, and we've all bemoaned and gone in and criticised them players that were brought in. This is the financial period that we're in now. So if anything can be done before the end of June 31st, United are going to go all in on it. Otherwise, we're taking Ruben Amorim into a brand new season with not a lot of money to back him, with a points deduction going into that season off the back of our worst ever Premier League season. It's not exactly ideal, is it? So if Garnacho needs to go and United need to balance the books, he is going to be gone. And I'm sorry if that upsets people who like Garnacho, but I'm afraid that's the reality. You have to stay in line with PSR. Otherwise, it's pointless Ruben Amorim even being here, because you're going to have no money you're going to have a point deduction, and we're already setting off the season on a negative. And you know, once that negative creeps into Manchester United, it spreads like wildfire. And that's what we're dealing with right now at the moment. Let's get a few more comments in on this one. Michael says 50 million is around the right price for Garnacho. We are lacking pace on the flanks as we are as a striker or strikers. Rasmus has purely mismanaged. Since the moment he arrived. His mind is mash. Yeah, he's gone. He's gone, Rasmus Højlund, for me. He needs replacing ASAP. I think we all know that one. Listen, Ruben, know what he's doing. If he sell one of our academy players, he won't do it without a replacement. He knows. We've said this before. Ruben won't sell players unless they are going to be replaced. This was the whole reason why Garnacho wasn't sold in January. I do believe if United had a replacement lined up, Garnacho would have been gone in January. I fully believe that is what would have happened. It's going to be interesting now that Conte is set for his new summer. I'm going to be really interested if Napoli miss out, which Inter Milan look like they're favourites to take Serie A right now. If Napoli miss out after the investment and then taking Kvaratskhelia away from Conte halfway through a season when they were up there at the top of the league, now been taken by Inter Milan because they've lost one of their best players, you can put your mortgage on that the directors and the people in charge of Napoli fully backing Antonio Conte this summer. And if he wants, like Daniele Logo says, the journalist, Garnacho's going to Napoli. They will pay the price because they're going to pay the price in losing Conte from Napoli, because you cannot take someone like Kvaratskhelia away in the middle of a title charge and not replace him. That is what Conte will demand. We've seen it before. He's done it. He's got form at every single club he's been at for it. And if they don't, then you know that Conte is going to start kicking up that stink, and Napoli can't afford that to happen. So they will be backing him. And if he wants Garnacho, I think they're going to pay the price. It's going to be 50 million in for Garnacho. And that will be our biggest profit on one particular player since Cristiano Ronaldo left the football club. That will be substantial. If you add Rashford to that as another 100% profit player, yes, we've still got to pay out Rashford's contract, and this is why Garnacho is key. So Rashford's situation is that maybe we've got another 20 million in wages to pay out on his contract. So if we get 40 million for him, we're only getting 20 million essentially for the books. But 20 million pure profit is still a lot more than what we'd be getting for the likes of Onana, Casemiro, Antony, players like this and Sancho that we're also leaving the football club. But Garnacho, very, very low wages. Contracts leading into his next 2 years, I think, right now as well. Manchester United would stand to make substantial amounts on Garnacho and would clear the decks in terms of Manchester United spending this summer. If it meant Manchester United went out and got Osimhen and Cunha, if we sold Garnacho, and that's a question I'm asking Man United fans right now, would you take that deal? If it meant that we brought in someone better that Ruben is actually going to be able to use, but is actually better than Garnacho anyway, you would take that deal, and you know you would. And I know there was a lot of pushback on Garnacho in January. When we were talking about it here on Forever United TV in January, everybody was going in like, we can't sell Garnacho. This is just the Glazers and Ineos selling players just to balance their books and the mess that they created. Yeah, there's elements of that, there is. But at the end of the day, we're looking at this from Ruben Amorim's perspective. And if he wants them players in and the only way he can get them is by moving other players on, I'm sorry, it has to happen. Simple as that. Let's see what else we've got here. Nacho should have been sold in January. There's tons of replacements available and many more will be available during the summer. No brainer. He refused to play left wing back and as the red flag, in my opinion. Lots of talk. Obviously, we know that there has been a discipline with Garnacho and Ruben already as well. And they've had that coming together at the start when he was dropped out of the matchday squad for the Manchester derby. So we've had that. That situation has obviously been dealt with and we've moved past that, and Garnacho has improved. But has he improved enough? Well, Manchester United, we're 14th in the league. No, there's a lot of players that haven't improved. But Manchester United's worst ever goal-scoring season, you're looking at your forwards. I'm sorry, there's no smoke without fire. And Manchester United's forwards, Garnacho, Ruben Amorim said it last night in his press conference when asked about Rasmus Højlund. And Rasmus is a different kettle of fish altogether. Honestly, if you ask me right now, just to make this clear, where the bigger problem is it Garnacho? Is it Rasmus Højlund? It's Rasmus Højlund. All day, every single day. And Garnacho, I would rather keep him and sell Rasmus. But in the real world, we dropped an absolute clanger in signing Rasmus Højlund. And we cannot get rid of him. And yes, you could say that Garnacho is the sacrifice for the mismanagement of what players were brought in. And it's wrong. But we have to back Ruben Amorim. And if we don't give him the funds and we don't take advantage of creating the funds, whichever way we can, then he is going to be stuck next season and we're going to be playing exactly the same type of football as we are this season, which will get him the sack. And then everybody's moaning about going back to square one again. The first signing that Ineos made, manager-wise, has failed miserably and been the worst ever. The negativity just absolutely oozes out of this football club and it is just a dead club again. Massive decisions need to be made because they have to be made this summer. And that is Garnacho. Rasmus should be out the door before him. There are other players that should be gone well before Garnacho. But sadly for us, and sadly for the situation that Ruben's in right now, he's come in the worst ever period in this club's Premier League history. And we have to do it. He's a sacrifice that needs to be made, and that will be made. They are going to do it because Ineos are cutthroat. And they know where United are at. They're not going to get rid of all of these hundreds and hundreds of staff and then let the players get away with it because some fans don't agree with it. Look, they've got their own issues right now. The last thing that they can afford is another season with Manchester United performing the way we are right now on the pitch. They need to make changes to bring better players in. Garnacho will be sold. 100% will be sold. And if he brings in Osimhen, then I'm all for it. Sounds really bad. Sounds like I'm just completely forgetting about what Garnacho was and the academy level of things and him coming through and being a homegrown player and this being the blueprint of what Manchester United have been for decades. Sounds like I'm just forgetting about all that, but I'm a realist and I understand where United are at right now, and it is up shit creek without a paddle. And the only way we find that paddle is by selling players. And sadly, he is going to be one of them. And that's why this story is quite big for me, because it's Daniele Logo again. And this has come from Antonio Conte off the back of not being fully backed in the middle of a season when he was top. And now he's not top. And it could have lost him the title. Kvaratskhelia, we've seen how much he's transformed PSG. You take that out of a title charge in a team and not replace it, you're going to be under the cosh and you're going to lose a little bit of quality. It's proved that way. I think this has got more than just legs, this deal right now, and this story. I think that Napoli will be back in for him again. I can't see Garnacho going Chelsea. I just see him going abroad. And don't count out Atletico as well. And it could create a bidding war for Manchester United, which they want, because it drives that price up. So, yeah, let's just see exactly how it develops around Napoli's side and how quickly they move, because that's going to be key, I think, with that June window opening. Let's get a few more comments on this quickly. Garnacho is a wing-back in this system. If he won't play there, then let's move on and get other players in. Garnacho is never going to fit a wing-back. He's never in a million years. I had hopes myself. I thought maybe he would change. Maybe we would get something like Ahmad on the other side, Garnacho on the other side, and get proper 10s in. Garnacho would never ever work in a left wing back position. He just isn't physical enough. He hasn't got the energy. He gets tired after 60, 70 minutes, and you can see it in him and how he plays. And I just don't ever think that he is going to be able to adapt. And that is another reason why you need to sell him. And you need to sell him now while his value is still high. Otherwise, we're going to have players like him and he'll just turn into the next Dallo. Good one week, bad the next week. That gets you 8th in the Premier League, 15th in the Premier League. God knows where in the Premier League next time if you don't change. Because selling Garnacho, selling the likes of Dallo down the line is going to get you better players that are going to hopefully replace Bruno Fernandes in time. Because Bruno can't last forever. And without Bruno's figures and numbers this season, United are relegated. It's simple. You look at the goals that Man United have scored this season. It's nowhere near enough. Nowhere near enough. To have only scored 21 goals in the Premier League at Old Trafford is staggering. It really is. And Bruno Fernandes, without him, without Ahmad, our two key players, relegation. telling you right now. Think about it. Think of the goals that he has scored. Think of what the contributions have been just alone at Old Trafford. If we didn't have if we didn't have Bruno Fernandes and Ahmad's numbers at Old Trafford in the league this season, or their contribution, United would be averaging less than a goal a game at Old Trafford. Less than a goal a game. Full-on relegation fodder. So you tell me that sacrifices, we can ignore these transfers around Garnacho. No, Garnacho isn't going to take Manchester United to where we want to go. I think that has been proven under Ruben Amorim in particular. You know what? If Ten Hag stayed, Garnacho probably would have been getting better numbers. And I think probably would have been playing better. But we're backing the new man. And if we don't back him, then we're going against what we were saying before. It's like, get behind the manager. We're sick of it always being these players. We need someone who's going to come in and stand up to these players and actually make the mark and show these players for what they really are. We've got someone in who's done that now, and now we don't back him. It doesn't make sense, does it? It really doesn't. We need to be all in on it. Only problem I have with Garnacho is to pass the ball. If he passes the ball, I have no problem with Garnacho. Just give the kid some developed time. Can we afford to give him developed time? Can Ruben Amorim afford to give him developed time? Because right now, Ruben Amorim, like I said last night, if Ruben Amorim isn't in and around that top 6 after about 10 games next season, you know what the calls are going to be. And if Garnacho's still in that team and we are talking about the same thing as we are now, then you know that we're all going to be saying we should have sold Garnacho in the summer and backed him and got somebody else. Big calls need to be made. And I'm sorry, if you like him, if you think he needs development, you think he can get better, we just don't have the time. Well, Ruben definitely doesn't have the time. That's the reality. And whether it's financial fair play or Ruben's time or where United are at right now or what the finances are dictating in terms of we cannot survive playing like this, changes need to be made and need to be made this summer. And there are going to be some drastic calls. Always a red with a super chat. Thank you, mate. Adam, can you see Villa taking Rashford? Ashes, that says there. Not sure. Can you see Villa taking Rashford? If they don't get into Europe, they can't keep Rashford and walking. It's off topic. You're walking. Sorry. No, right. No, don't worry about that. Thank you for the super chat, mate. I think Unai Emery loves Rashford. I did a piece yesterday on him on Football Talks, and I put a shot out actually as well. On social media regarding the Watkins and Rashford situation. I see Villa still buying Marcus Rashford. I think Villa are nailed on for Europe. Obviously, right now they've moved into a great position with that win against Newcastle at weekend. I do believe that Villa will clinch a Champions League place by smashing Manchester United on the last game of the season. Because that last game of the season will be after the Europa League final, which is kind of weird. But that's if we get to the final, that is. Either way, Manchester United's season is going to peter out in the Premier League, whether we're in the Europa League or we're not. Because the players will be downbeat, and obviously we've seen when we want these players to react, they don't do it anyway. If we're in that Europa League final, that previous few days before that last game of the season against Villa, then I think we'll be knackered anyway, and we'll obviously be on the come down from that. But I think Villa will buy Marcus Rashford. I think they will. It all depends on him, though, whether he wants to stay. That's the key. I think Villa want him. I'm not sure if Rashford wants to stay. I think he thinks he's bigger and better. And I think one performance against PSG where he did well, and he did play well, I think that goes right into Marcus Rashford's head, and he's convinced that he's better than what he is already. I do. That's how I think he thinks, anyway. You can say I'm wrong on that one, but we've seen it before with him, haven't we? We have. I would sell Højlund, Onana, Garnacho, Rashford, Sancho, Anthony Mount, Shaw, Casemiro and Malacia. Malacia is also coming back. Another sad state of affairs that is. Another failed Manchester United Erik Ten Hag signing. Again, PSV not triggering the option straight away. If this was said like games before the end of the season, they've already said that they don't want to keep him. That's drastic, isn't it? He must be absolutely shocking. Adam, I think Nacho will be a bench player if Ahmad comes back. He will be, Peter, and I don't think he wants that. Ray says, so we're sitting 14th and a rookie PL coach, Premier League coach. A rookie Premier League coach, sorry. Rashi wants Barca. If that happens, he will be waiting till the last week of August. Barca are time wasters. I just don't see United doing any business with Barcelona ever. I just don't see it happening. We just don't work well together. Block came with a super chat. Thank you, buddy. Says Garnacho can go because Sancho is coming home. Block, don't wind everybody up. Come on. You know we're already downbeat after yesterday, mate. Stop winding up the chat. Thanks for the super chat. And Malacia, for F's sake, what is happening? Yeah, failed Manchester United signings from Ten Hag's era. That is what is always going to be happening unless you take a stance and you cut your losses. Look, Malacia needs to be sold for about 5 million. Buy. You're not going to lose money on that deal if you sell him for 5 million. You're not. Because we only spent about 13 on him. And he's 3 years into his contract. So we're not going to lose money on PSR. 5 million. See you later, mate. Gone. Finished. Sancho, just take your 25. Luckily, Sancho is having a little bit of impact at Chelsea right now. Obviously, coming on off the bench yesterday when it looked like Chelsea were down and out. Massive result for Chelsea away at Fulham yesterday. Coming back late on and winning that game. That was huge for Maresca. And that could be big for Jadon Sancho. The more money Chelsea have got, the better chance we've got of him staying at Chelsea. And they're not even being a saga in the summer. We get 25 million for him. Thank you. See you later. Wages gone. Money in the bank. Add that to Garnacho being sold and Rashford being sold. You're starting to mount up a little bit of a pot. If you add the Champions League to that, and United actually do pull it out the bag this season and win the Europa League, substantial pot to go into. So Garnacho leaving no matter what. I think even if we get Champions League, I do believe that Manchester United have got a replacement lined up for Garnacho. I think it is Matheus Cunha. You seen yesterday at the ground, so pictures of Ruben Amorim catching up with Cunha in the tunnel. A lot of people have pictured that one, putting his arm around him, having a bit of a chat with him. A lot of people have actually seen and brought up the video that Nate Salt from the Daily Mail was posting yesterday regarding Casemiro, having a good old chat with Matheus Cunha as well. Now, we don't even know if if Casemiro is going to be at Manchester United next season. So I don't think there's anything in that. Two Brazilians having a chat at the end of the game. Nothing in that one. Ruben talking to him and talking about him. I think Ruben is a big admirer of Cunha. And I think if we get the chance to sign him, United are all in for it. Definitely all in. And it will be ahead of the likes of Tyler Dibling as well. More on him in a minute. More chats coming in. Super chat from Manny. Thank you, buddy. I can't see us getting the big names we're throwing around. My bet is Cunha and Delap at best, and that will do. That's realistic. Sancho is only coming home if there is a spot in the fish shop. I mean, to be honest, what is a big name? Osimhen's a big name, but Osimhen is gettable for Man United because of the situation where he's happy to come to United. United will pay his wages, and he's not bothered about European football. And we have got a card in this here in Garnacho being sold. So if you're talking like Osimhen's one of the big names, I don't think that is out of the way for United. I think United could get... I think we could get Osimhen. I think we could get Cunha. I do believe we can still get Delap as well at the same time. I think them players are all gettable for United. And then I think we're covered up front. And then we've got an option then to let Rasmus Højlund go on loan. Someone paying his wages in full. Release him, because you would have Osimhen and you would have Cunha as your 2 9s. You'd have Ahmad coming back. Bruno can push forward again. If Garnacho was gone, that will give us the money to obviously bring in another 8. Also, we have talked about Joe Bellingham being a target for Manchester United. He could be coming in to United's midfield. Obviously, we did the stats and the talk about Joe Bellingham the other day, about him being the best under-19 player in Europe right now in any division regarding his numbers. You can argue the point that is only the championship level and it should be better. But if he's excelling in that to that level, he is definitely ready to make a move to a better level. And if he's got any of the gene pool of his brother, then we know that we cannot afford to miss out on another deal like this. The reported fee for him is around about 30 million. I could see that one happening. I really could. Vivel has taken over in that department regarding Manchester United's pursuit of Joe Bellingham. I don't think he's going to let him go. If Vivel says yes, and Wilcox is happy with this, United will get Joe Bellingham in the summer, and he will be another midfielder that comes in for us. He could be our ball-carrying number 8 midfielder. It's going to be interesting to see where that one goes. Obviously, you've got the news on Edison as well. And when you look at it that way, I think them names are gettable for United. And when we talk, I don't even know what a big name is anymore. Just to go back to that chat there for Mane, I don't know what a big name is.
They're not big names, are they? Is a big name someone because his price is so big? Is he a big name player because he's at another club that is competing at the highest level? Or what is a big name player these days? United are not in for any of them. I think Osimhen is as big as it can get for United this summer in terms of someone well known with the ability and the quality that United are lacking drastically and could only dream of getting. I personally feel like we can get Osimhen. And like what Daniele Logo has said, what we were talking about a moment ago, the link with Garnacho and Napoli needing to sell Osimhen quickly, I think it's doable. I really do think United could get Osimhen. I think we will. If United are happy with the wage structure with Osimhen, it's a done deal. I think he comes. And I think it's that simple as well. Because United, we know, and like the Athletic have said, can afford the fee for Osimhen. It's actually coming down in price. It's less than 60 million now for Victor Osimhen. That is something that you cannot turn your nose up at. You can't. Yes, his wages are going to be high, but if he gets you them goals that are necessary and propels you up that table, possibly into European positions, then that's why you spend that money. He's a game changer for United. He really is. And the fact that he's well over 30 goal involvements this season already tells you again, same numbers as it was in Italy. It's the same numbers in Turkey. You go with someone who is proven. And I think, yes, you've got that worry that he hasn't played in the Premier League, but that's going to be the same with everyone we bring in this summer. So you go for the better players, surely, don't you? Andrew says, limitless, although Rashford is better than Højlund, it's a low starting point. Rashford's performances in the last couple of years was poor. Villa are hardly falling over themselves to sign him. I think it is being pushed from Unai Emery because I think Rashford is used differently under Unai Emery's system, and I think he likes him in that role. And that's why I think Ollie Watkins has got a bit upset, because it does look like he has just come in and replaced Ollie Watkins. I think that's where we're at with Rashford and Unai Emery. But I'm not convinced that Rashford wants to stay at Villa. I think he thinks he's better, which is the worry for us, because that means that saga drags out. Like someone said in the chat, if he wants to go to Barcelona, or he thinks he should be playing at a higher level, then that saga is... Oh, God, I don't even want to think about it. It's going to be one hell of a summer, isn't it? Job is overrated from his surname, nothing like his brother, different playing style. So why is he overrated? I don't get it. He's a different playing style and he's a different player. Yes, we need that lower lying midfielder who can carry the ball forward. I think Jude Bellingham is better in the 10 role as an attacking player. So yeah. Adam, big names used to be used to put names on shirts. Not, I hope, big names are now fighters for this club. Well, we'll see. Hopefully, if we win Europe and sell Ghana, do you think we go after Gyökeres instead? No, I don't think we do, because it's the Athletic article on Gyökeres still rings true in my head. United wouldn't be willing to spend 58 million on someone turning 27, but willing to spend the same amount on someone turning 26. One more year in Gyökeres and Osimhen. Yeah, you get what I mean. Honestly, if you was asking me which one of them strikers I would take Gyökeres over Osimhen. I think he would fit Manchester United better in terms of Ruben's system. Not saying that Osimhen can't, but only because Gyökeres knows Ruben Amorim. That's the only thing he's got over Osimhen for me. I think numbers are quite similar, even though Gyökeres has hit ridiculous numbers. Over 50 goals this season. Wow. That is ridiculous. And if you can get that player in your side, you go out and you get that player in your side. He will repay that money instantly. And if Ineos want to look to the future and get maximum value out of certain players, and you're going to cut the line at 27, then I think it's stupid. It is. You need that experience in your side to help them younger players get better, to get value out. Gyökeres pays for himself. Gyökeres will get United the goals that get us competing for top 4, and that money will come in. His wages won't be as high as what Osimhen's are either. So really, if you were asking me, if we made Champions League, we won the Europa League, would I get Osimhen or would I get Gyökeres? I would go and get Gyökeres. The only thing that's putting me off on Gyökeres, it's not the player, it's the stories that have come out about United's recruitment team not looking to buy a 27-year-old for 58 million. You're buying a ready-made fix to get United earning money on the pitch. There is no longevity in Gyökeres or Osimhen. 1 year out, 1 year difference. I go for the proven quality under Ruben Amorim personally. I think it's a no-brainer. There's someone there who knows what Ruben wants him to do instantly, who is guaranteeing new goals. I would always go for him over Osimhen. I just don't think that United are actually looking at him. That's why I've not even talked about him that much. It really is off the back of what the Athletic was saying, that they weren't willing to pay that money. Strikers start peaking at 27-30. Well, some do, some don't. Some get worse. Some actually do hit that mark and are unplayable. I think Gyökeres is at that stage right now. I think I did answer that question there, Craig, there, in terms of which player I would take just a moment ago. In terms of other players that Manchester United have been looking at, I think we've touched on everyone so far. The top story being Garnacho, and if you have just joined us, although plenty of people have, you're having a line on a bank holiday Monday, everybody, aren't you? Yes, you are allowed, it's okay. I'm only joking. Please do give the video a like if you're loving the content. We are past that 150 mark. Let's see if we can get that over 200. Make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV as well, everyone. Yes, so we talked about Garnacho. Daniele Logo breaking the news from Italy that Antonio Conte and his number one target this summer in the transfer window is Alejandro Garnacho, and he wants him at any cost and expects him to be in his side next season. That's the word coming from Italy right now. Daniele Logo is someone that I think we can look at and say, yes, has got the credibility, because Romano did come up and back him actually in the January window regarding Garnacho news. So that's an interesting one as well, and I think we can look at that and say that this has got legs, this story. Obviously then you've got the link with Osimhen going the opposite way, and United being able to use the Garnacho sale as leverage for Osimhen. Going into that as well. Matheus Cunha obviously playing at Old Trafford yesterday. Ruben Amorim having a little chat with him in the tunnel. He's caught a picture taken with him, having a bit of a chat. How much you read into that, we don't know. Look, Cunha ultimately will be a player that comes to United. There'll be no rush to bring him in. I don't think you're going to see Cunha like knocking on the door as soon as June transfer window opens. I want out of here. I think it'll just be in time. The Cunha one, and it'll just spread out. Tyler Dibling is one player that we've not spoken about yet today, and he has been talking about his move away from Southampton. Pretty much talking like you'd expect a teenager to talk, like who is not experienced in this sort of situation, i.e. he's joking about what Aaron Ramsdale is talking to him about on training. That every time he misses a shot in training, his value comes down by 10 million. Ramsdale shouts out 90 million now, 80 million now, 70 million. It's a bit of an ongoing joke within the Southampton camp that the price has been released of Tyler Dibling. So that tells you that 100 million is unrealistic. Even the players at Southampton are laughing it off right now. And I think Dibling knows himself that he's not worth 100 million. It's just stupid. But one other thing he did say when talking about his future was he loves Southampton. He's been there since he was 8. He's looking to improve and do better things with Southampton. He doesn't really want to talk about it, basically, is what he's saying there. He wants to just talk about the here and now and concentrate on what he's doing at Southampton. So very, very, very diplomatic in the way that he's answered that. You'd expect him to, pretty much reading off a script. So yeah, in terms of the Tyler Dibling situation, again, I don't think that one's going to develop very, very quickly. I think that could be a long, drawn-out thing over the summer. Unless there's a team that's in the Club World Cup that want to sign Dibling, then maybe that moves forward. Possibly. I didn't think Cunha was that good yesterday, but then our young lads defended really well. Honestly, Fredrickson, Babs, was superb up against Cunha and a few of them other forwards for Wolves yesterday. Absolutely outstanding, I thought. United Spotlight, Carl says, 27 is old for me, on a 3-year deal to 30, then extend it. If we never buy anyone, sorry, a few typos there, mate. If we never buy anyone 27 plus, we will never get where we want to be. We just be at the next Brighton, buying kids and selling them on. Yeah, I get what Carl's saying there. You do need to add that experience. Like, we're buying plenty of other younger players into this side. Surely the development will be looking at them gaining experience off some more experienced players in our side, older players like Osimhen, like Gyökeres. And the value is in them. Your investment in a 27-year-old is for the now and your guarantees to score goals, not the prospect of the player coming in that's young, getting better in a few years. Ruben hasn't got time for that. So what Carl's saying there, I think, is dead right, in that you have to be able to buy both. I just think it goes side by side. They're going to gain experience off and get better off better players. You're not going to get better as a team if it's just all young players. They need to learn off somebody else. Otherwise, the standard will be, oh, this is all right, we're getting better. We've moved into the top 10. Oh, we might be able to push for Europa League. No, there needs to be a different mindset. Like going at a slow pace, and it is going to take time for United to win the league, but United at least need to be aiming for top 4. We need to be back in the Champions League. That's at least where United should be aiming for. And you're not going to get that with young players constantly coming in and hoping that they're going to develop. If they've got no one to develop off or work and learn off, then it's going to be a disaster from the get-go. It's not going to be a disaster. I'll probably jump the gun a bit there, but you know what I mean. It's not going to be easy for them to hit that ground running if they haven't got anyone to look up to, anyone to actually work off. So, yeah, really, I think what Carl's saying there is dead right. We do need to buy some ready-made, experienced players. Look, I think Cunha is at 25 the right type of player, the perfect buy right now. Bit of both. Still young enough, and obviously has got experience as well. Osimhen or a Gyökeres on top of that would be exactly what Manchester United need. And I think the younger players coming in, some of these 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds that we're looking to buy in, would then develop even more off the back of playing alongside these players. I think that's how it should be. So if Tyler Dibling isn't interested in Manchester United and he wants to concentrate on Southampton, then yeah, go for it, mate. He won't be. He will be moving this summer. I can guarantee you that. And he is just talking the way you'd expect someone to talk. Like I said, from that script, being told what to say, just to keep everybody interested. Because let's be honest, Southampton do need the money, and they will be having to sell. Will be needing to sell Dibling this summer. This is the problem of buying young players now. When Amas plays bad, you're going to say he's trash when he's 18 and Dorgu's 20. They are not finished products. A finished product would be more like a Nuno. I expect Dibling to join Newcastle United, says Oculus. Interesting. Dorgu looks really suspect when he comes when it comes to defending. He gets skinned by almost every player that comes up against him. Disagree with that, David. I don't think he does. He has been, and I've said myself, like, he's been a bit off. I haven't been overwhelmed by Dorgu. Showing signs, I thought he was better yesterday. But again, look, he's coming in the middle of an absolute nightmare season. I likened him yesterday to Patrice Evra. Coming in, had a nightmare start to his career at Man United. And that's when United were good. Went away, learnt what United were about in the summer, came back the season after a pre-season and hit the ground running. I think Dorgu will be a good player. I think he will get better in time. And I think just a little bit more experience of being in and around Manchester United will help him, I think. We can't buy Cunha and Osimhen. That takes up too much of the budget. We still need midfielders, wing-backs and keepers. We can buy Osimhen. We can buy Cunha at the same time because I backed it up by selling Garnacho, mate. That was the difference and why I said we would do that. So that's all that was, buddy. I get what you're saying in terms of the budgets and everything like that, but it was off the back of selling Garnacho. That's what it was. And that would be the be-all and end-all for United. That like literally selling homegrown players. That could be it this summer for us and how we survive. Remember when we used to talk about United could score 100 goals in a Premier League season? Yeah, I do. And now we're not even, and now we're barely making a goal a game. Disastrous. I think we've got 38 league goals in 33 games. 38. Ruud van Nistelrooy used to score that on his own. That's scary, isn't it? It really is. Oh my God. Oh. You just scared me with that one there, Jonathan. That's like just bringing it right back there to a massive reality check. Any player that doesn't want to come because of no European football isn't the type of player we should be looking for. But where's the vision or mentality of taking us to the next level with your acquisition? I think that's where United are confident that we will be getting players in that want to be part of the project and the mission to take United back to the top again. I think that's what United will be looking at. That is the show this morning, everybody. Thank you so much. Please do get your comments in the comment section after the live is finished and let me know what you think of all of the topics there, particularly on Garnacho. Would you sell him if it meant just bringing in the better players like Acuna or an Osimhen? Let me know what you think in the comment section there as well, everybody. Please give the video a like on the way out, everyone. That will take us over 200 for the morning, which is nice. Hopefully you have a fantastic bank holiday Monday. Thank you, members, and thank you, mods in the chat again. All of the super chats as well. I love you all. I will be back later on, probably this evening. I don't see much news coming out today, but if there is anything, I will keep you updated, of course. So make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you have that bell notification, and I will see you all later on. Have a good one.